Well, hey there. Today is Q&A day. I am answering your questions about call control. I sat down a couple of days ago to review comments and answer questions, and I noticed an overwhelming number of questions are about how to get a customer to stop talking and listen to you. How do you politely interject? How do you move the call to closure? And I thought rather than repeat the same answers over and over, I'm just going to do a Q&A video. I've printed out some of the questions that you've posed to me, and I am going to help you guide customers to the next steps in a way that is polite, it is professional, and effective. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, we haven't had an opportunity to meet. I'm Myra Golden. I work with customer service professionals like you who want to do a great job, but sometimes you're overwhelmed with our challenging customers, and I help. That's where I come in. I primarily work with delivering bad news, how to de-escalate, empathy and tone, and overall, how to deliver a fantastic customer experience. If that is relevant to you, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you are the first to know when I release a new video. Well, all right, we are going to take your questions about how to guide a customer to the next steps and how to do that in a polite way when you just cannot get a word in edgewise. So I printed the questions out and we're going to get right to it. So here's our first question. Hi, Myra. What if the customer doesn't want to hear sorry because they already heard those words multiple times? Will this be a good example? My apologies will be an understatement. Oh, I like that. My apologies will be an understatement. First of all, I salute you for wanting to be relevant and genuine and noticing that rote words or words that they've heard over and over again won't work. That tells me you care and that shows me your sincere intent. I do like your response. Let me put that back on the screen. My apologies will be an understatement. And what I think you're saying here is, I know it's not enough. I know it's not going to fix things, but I want you to know I'm sorry. So yes, that is an excellent response. And I want you to know that when you convey empathy and a sincere tone, every effort that you make to help is going to work. Know that you are doing your job just by caring and offering an apology, even if you know 2 or 3 other people have given that apology or you've done that several times in the call. Yes, that is going to work. And another response, which is very similar to yours that I might use, would be, it doesn't feel like enough to apologize, yet I am sorry for the frustration you experienced. And really, I'm saying what you said, but in a different way. I just want to give you an option, but you are doing the right thing by even caring that the apology isn't enough. Tells me you're on the right track. So use your response or adapt my response. Hi, I would like to know the best ways to reduce call handling time, stop callers talking over me, and not have to repeat what I've told them. Thank you. All right, so the first part of this is you're trying to reduce call time by having people not talk over you and then not be repetitive. Want to make sure I have that. When a person is talking and not letting you speak, that's disrespectful. And they are delaying any potential help that they could get from you by over talking you. Here's the best thing you can do when the customer will not stop talking. You stop talking. I want you to pause. Literally like this. You're still fully present. You're listening, but I want you to stop talking. The customer cannot interrupt a person who is not talking. They cannot overtalk you when you're not talking. It's like you're in an argument with your partner or a friend and you choose to not dignify their ignorance with a response. You just like, I'm not going to stoop to that level. When you do that, they have nowhere to go. So that person who is interrupting you, they just won't stop talking. They're looking for a battle. It may be a bait tactic so they can throw you off. You're flustered and you just give them what they want, or you're frustrated to the point that you escalate to a supervisor. They know what they are doing. Or it could be, and they are just so emotional that they can't stop themselves. Whatever the reason is, the bait tactic or they're emotional, it's just not productive. You stop talking. You're fully engaged. You're fully present, but you're just not talking. What happens when you pause? You hit that pause button, you don't say anything for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 18 seconds. They notice. And this is especially powerful over the phone. It works in person, but over the phone, even more so, because the customer can't see your facial expression. They don't know if you're there. They will begin to wonder. It's very much psychological. They'll begin to wonder, are you there? Like, did I lose you? Are you there? Are you listening? And you will find after you pause, 18 seconds is about as long as it would take. And I know that's a long time, but it won't take every customer that long. But they'll realize she's not saying anything, or he hasn't spoken in a few seconds. And what they'll do is pause. They will come up for air if for no other reason than to make sure you are still there. So I want you to use that pause. Don't be afraid that it may take several seconds, because you're going to gain that back when you get back in control. So when you get back in control, when they come up for air and they're going to say something like, are you still there? All right. You're not rude when you come back. You'll say, yes, I'm just trying to make sure I got it all. In fact, let me now try to summarize what I've heard so far. I want to make sure I understand you. So you pause. That is the tactic. Then when they come up for air, they will notice. You jump in and you drive that conversation where you need it to go. All right, that was the first part of your question. Let me see, what was the second question? And I want to not have to repeat what I have told them. All right, and that's a challenge too. When you repeat yourself, you're thinking, we've already covered this, that's adding to your talk time. When you have to repeat yourself, what you're doing, you're trying to control the call. You're trying to move the conversation forward. Repeating yourself can be effective. There is a technique that I used to talk about in my workshops called the broken record technique. And that's where you repeat yourself over and over and over and over again. It is a tactic to de-escalate, to bring down the temperature. Now I know we are in digital times. Some of you probably have never had a record, but I grew up in a time where we had albums. We had little 45s and we had LPs. If the needle, you put it on a record player, and you have the needle. If the needle gets stuck, okay, it should go around. If it gets stuck, you're going to hear the same word over and over and over again. And it's annoying. You want to hear the music. You let the music play. And so you will go over to that record player. You lift it. You may have to clean the needle, or you may just, move the needle. We move. We're going to take action. No one is going to let a needle or a broken record just play over and over and over again. So when you repeat yourself, that is actually effective. So one example is I was working with a client where, let's say a customer bought a 24-pack variety of potato chips. And in that 24-pack, one of the small bags of potato chips was completely crushed. And they want to have the entire variety pack of 24 bags replaced. And I suppose you could do that in the interest of customer service, but if you do that all the time, you're giving the store away. And so I was walking my client through in this example, how to say we can replace one bag of potato chips. Well, yeah, but I bought the 24 pack. Rather than argue with them, we can replace one bag, the exact bag that you told us was crushed. They keep going, we can replace one bag of potato chips. They go, we can replace one bag. It's kind of like you're talking to your kids. Those of you who have children, that's how we discipline. You probably do too. I remember when my daughter was younger and we'd have to take her phone, and she always had an argument as to why she needed, her phone. Of course, we need our phones. And I would just repeat myself over and over again. Until you get your grades up to a B average, you don't have access to a phone. But Mom, I'm going to need it. What if I'm at cheer and I can't reach you? Until you get your grades up to a B, you don't have access to your phone. And I would just continue to do that Eventually, what would happen with my daughter, what will happen with your customers is they get tired of hearing it. So see the repeating yourself as a positive thing. Don't sound annoyed. You want to still sound neutral. So don't let them make you think that I don't want you to be nervous. I don't want you to be thrown off. I don't want you to be irritated. You just keep that neutral tone, just like I would with my daughter. All right. Thank you for that question. All right, here's the last question I'll take today. And this question just came in right before I logged in to talk to you all. This is from a student who just completed my masterclass, and she asked, I do have one question for you. The one main follow-up I received was regarding how to politely interrupt if the customer truly doesn't stop speaking. For example, we answer the phone with our typical greeting, and then for the next 5+ minutes, oh wow, the customer barely takes a break. Yes, that is so frustrating. And do they think that you can listen as they talk a mile a minute, listen intently and get it all? Do they want it to be a monologue? I mean, I always just wonder what is going on in the mind of the customer that will go. And I get the feeling you mean literally 5+ minutes. There are people who will do this. I remember from my call center days having customers just, you answer the phone and I mean, you cannot write fast enough. There's no way you're going to comprehend every detail. I need to move on something you said 4 minutes ago, but you're still talking. The thing here is we are going to have to interject, not interrupt. We're going to have to interject and take over this phone call. And the way you do that is when they take a breath, and it may just be like, it may be a comma, not a period, in what they're saying, then you are going to jump in and take control. And you've probably heard me give this analogy in the past, but I like to think of interjecting with a talkative customer as getting into a game of jump rope. You've got jump rope where you have one child holding one end of the rope, another child holding the other. They're swinging, and you are going to jump. You're going to begin jump roping. And if you wait too long, and you can, I mean, if you wait 5 minutes, let's say, go with the duration of this customer talking. If you wait 5 minutes waiting for the perfect opportunity where you can get in and you won't trip and you feel confident, you think it's right, it's going to be frustrating to the two children who are holding the rope. It's going to be frustrating for anyone behind you who also wants to join this game of jump rope. So waiting too long, when I look at this in a contact center perspective, it is frustrating for all of the callers who are in queue. It's frustrating for your coworkers who are taking more than their share of calls because you are in a call you cannot get out of. But at the same time, if going back to the game of jump rope, you don't want to jump in too quickly without thinking, because if I just do it, I might trip. And then that's just frustrating. Both kids drop their handles and then we start over and I don't look good. So I don't want you to wait for that perfect moment because you're frustrating everyone else who wants to be a part of this. But I don't want you to jump in, without thinking. Not the perfect moment. That's not what we're looking for. We're just going to watch that rope, listen to that customer, and when it feels right. And right is not going to be letting them go for 5 minutes. That is not right. The customer may not even remember what they said that entire time. And often they are redundant. When they talk that long, they are embellishing, the details. You don't even need all those details. So we don't need to wait, all right, for the perfect moment. But when it feels right, we're going to jump in. And when you jump in, when you say they barely take a breath, you're going to jump in when you hear a comma. Or you might not even wait for a comma. Because again, like that jump rope, when it feels right. Jump in, not interrupt. You're going to interject, getting in sync, and say something like, can I jump in for a second? I want to summarize what I've heard so far to make sure I understand. Think about how that will go over. You have a tone that doesn't sound irritated or annoyed, no matter what you are feeling. You Conversely, you sound confident. You sound assertive. You sound like you are proactively moving the conversation forward. So if they're not taking a breath, then it may feel like an interruption, but we're going to call it, so we're using a little psychology, an interjection. And you're doing the customer a favor, because if you could jump in for a second and clarify, make sure you understand, you're better positioned to help them. All right. So that helps you help them, and it helps you help yourself. So that's one way. And let's say you make this statement, you do well for a few seconds, maybe even, a couple minutes, but then the customer has taken over again. They're doing all of the talking. Then you need to interject again. So here's another way you might do that. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm not sure I'm with you. Let me ask you 3 quick questions so I'm sure I have all the information I need. The first question is, so why do I want you to ask 3 questions here? Well, you may have seen my video, and I'll make a point to put a link in the description box for that. But I have a technique, a call control technique that I call ask 3 closed-ended questions back to back. The 3 questions, closed-ended questions technique is designed to move customers out of their emotional, talkative right brain to their logical, rational left brain, where they can listen to you. And when you make the questions closed-ended, psychologists have found that you regain control of a conversation, because all they have to do is fill in the blanks. So it's like a fill in the blank answer versus an essay, and you are in control. So let me put the statement back up. Wait, I'm sorry, I'm not sure I'm with you. Let me ask you 3 quick questions. And so when you say 3 quick questions, it's a technique called signposting. Signposting is like, when you see, like if you're on the interstate and you can see a sign that says, gas in 4 miles or gas next exit, then you know that is coming, or a rest stop is coming, and you can prepare for that, to merge to the right lane and just be prepared. Signposting in call control is the same thing. So you can use words to prime your customer, let them know, show them a sign that something is coming up. You can signpost, and I might even do an entire video on that, but signpost by saying, all right, I only have 1 more question to ask you, and then I'll let you go. So you're letting them know 1 more question and the end is near. In this case, we're signposting to let them know we're going to ask not 1, not 2, but 3 questions, so they can shut up, okay, and let you do your job. And I wouldn't do more than 3, because the psychology, the research just shows asking 3 closed-ended questions is going to put you back in control. They do have to be closed-ended. Yeah, I will. I'll make sure I put a link in the description box for you on that video that I know is on my channel. So what we're doing here is we are not letting them take over. We are interjecting, not interrupting, interjecting. And when we interject, we use one of the 2 statements that I've just given you. That is going to put you in control. Use your assertive tone, right? Sound like you expect to take over this call. You're polite, you're professional, and assertive, all at the same time. Thank you for your questions, and thank you for trusting me with your questions, trusting me to coach you and guide you. I know that the struggle with controlling calls and getting your average handle time down is a real struggle. I mentioned the guy that wrote to me who lost his job when he couldn't get his calls under control. And I have far more questions than I shared today. People are stressed about this. And so we're going to come back to this topic, and I'm going to share with you advice and ideas to help you feel less stress and help you politely and assertively regain control and guide your customer to the next steps. If this has been helpful to you, make sure you like this video and also subscribe to my channel. I want you to be the first to know when I release a new video. All right, until next time.